Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to League Racing TV here for round number 10 of the TTML Formula 3 season. Here in Season 7, we of course travel to the circuit of the Americas for the United States Grand Prix. I am Ivor Bryn, going to be taking you through the action, and joined alongside with me, it is Mr. Ivan. How are you doing, Ivan?
Good evening to you, Mike, and to everyone on the stream. I'm doing good, thanks for asking. Yeah, Circuit of the Americas, tricky track. One of those tracks we have love-hate relationship on this game, but yeah, I hope we are in for a good race.
Yep, same. And obviously, when it comes to league racing around this circuit, it can be very tricky. Lots of key traction zones, a lot of places where you can pick up unnecessary warnings, penalties, you name it, you can pick it up here. And of course, the S's is going to be a key focus at this circuit, where it's very easy to pick up a unnecessarily track extension, and especially on the exit of, I believe it's turn 9. I don't have the track map open just yet, but I'll make sure to get all that up now as I just make sure I got all the options open when it comes to the spectator menu for these guys. And only 15 drivers here tonight, and honestly, was hoping for a little bit of a better turnout, but hopefully these 15 will give us some great racing up and down the field.
Yeah, same. I also expect quite a bit more drivers, but it's the end of F1 2021 game cycle. As you can imagine, everyone's preparing for the new era game, F1 2022, obviously. And I think everyone had enough of F1 2021, or at least most of us did. So yeah, this fall in attendance doesn't surprise me as much.
I am currently on board with NSR Pereira, who had a fantastic race last time out in Suzuka, picked himself up, I believe, his first podium of the season, and he's going to get us underway for a flying lap around here. So we shall run down into turn 1. Do you want to take it away?
Yeah. Braking for turn 1. Clip that curb. Don't lose instruction, very easy to do it. Turn 2, and now in the S's. Turn 3, 4, 5, and 6. Throwing that car into it. Your backhand really needs to be stable there. Now turns, I think, 7 and 8. Turn 9 and Piraya already invalidated.
It's unfortunate from Pereira. We got Buell right in behind, so he's the next man in the Haas as he's coming through the sectional corners where we saw Pereira just extend his car over the limits, but FRL Buell has kept it in check as he approaches the hairpin. Now this is going to be one of the key overtaking opportunities at this circuit, with the DRS straight all the way down to, I believe, turn 12, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is turn 12.
Yeah, I always get corners on this track wrong. Now coming to end of Sector 2 and beginning of Sector 3. One very hard traction zone. Now this triple left-hander, who from it inspired by turn 8, and now coming to Aiden Hill section before turn 18, named after famous MotoGP rider Nicky Hayden, world champion from 2006. Turn 19 and end of the lap 32.079 for Bolo. And Noah J already, NXJ already beats that 31.851. So, very good lap.
Yeah, very good lap from Jay. Pole position, I'm expecting to be in the low 31s, maybe even sneaking into the high 30s if someone has an absolute cracking lap. I'm on board with the championship leader right now, EVG Tam 1. Took victory last time out in Suzuka, so going to be looking to continue that momentum into the closing stages of this season as he comes through the final corner. What is this going to be for the man in the Alpine? It's going to be a 31.5, takes provisional pole position. A very good lap there from Tam.
Yeah, he left Noah J eating his dust there, 3 tenths behind. somewhat of distance behind around that. But yeah, very good lap from Alpine driver.
Yeah, absolutely. As I'm on board with
Matt
Matt
Jonas
in the
coming to the line.
Yep, Red Bull, and he's improved it with a 31.3. My God, these times are coming in quick and fast now, and there seems to be like a 2.5 tenth improvement each time.
Yeah, Chuck is really evaluating quickly, and I think your predictions won't stand for long. I will imagine those times will go around 1:30.6 for pole position. I'll just take a random guess.
On board with Appledorn, who's had a bit of a rocky first sector as he travels across the Essex, so I'm guessing he's messed up somewhere. GMAC pops himself up in the third place. Powdy gets ahead of Jay, so that's a good lap from Powdy.
I'm on board
Dylan,
with Legend, who is coming to last corner now.
we'll see what the McLaren can do.
Third year board, 3.6 with 31.912. So very solid lap.
Yep, very solid indeed. And obviously for Legend and Pariah, of course, last time out in Suzuka, in case you missed it, it was a double McLaren podium, as it was Tam who took victory ahead of Legend in second place and Pariah in third. And what that has done to the Drivers' Championship is Tam leading the way on 194 points, with Legend in second on 172. So 22 points separating the top two drivers. Mad Jonas in third on 154. Then a bit of a gap back then to Dylan on 128 in fourth place. 1 point ahead of Yogi F1 on 127, so a close battle for fourth there. 107 points to Yaham in sixth. Dundee on 95 points in seventh. Pariah jumps up into eighth on 84 points. 82 points to Langfell in ninth. And then Yele Gleason, who has retired from the season, on 76 points in 10th. But GMAC and Charlie with a great opportunity of jumping ahead into the top 10 tonight on 74 points and 70 points respectively.
Well, in terms of constructors, Alpine leads with 322 points, ahead of McLaren and Williams Racing with 224 points for McLaren and 189 points for Williams. Fourth is Mercedes with 188 points. Fifth is Red Bull with 168 points. Sixth is Aston Martin with 156 points. Seventh is Alfa Romeo Racing with 135 points. Eighth is the American Pride, the home representative, the home team of Haas with 118 points. Scuderia Ferrari, the Prancing Horse, is in ninth with 69 points, and then another Italian team from Faenza this time around, AlphaTauri in last place with 64 points.
Well, just got some interesting news as I just opened the stream. Obviously, we got a Charlotte in the chat showing support for Pariah, saying go Pariah, and Pariah will be going 100%. I can assure you what that, as he pops up in the second place with a 0.4. Very good lap there from NSR Pariah.
Right, you summoned him, whoever it was.
I mean, he just gets summoned up to the top whenever I speak. Like that's the way it goes, guys. But also Pariah commenting in the chat saying the first 10 to 15 minutes of the race is in the rain, so that should spice things up early on.
Oh, they really should. It is really tricky, this track in dry, but in wet, the level gets of difficulty gets even more higher. I remember doing this track in wet in WOR for most of the race. Like we only had 2 or 3 laps under dry conditions, and then the entire race was wet. Basically, if you have pace, you can easily break away, and I think that won't be the case there, because the grid is much closer, and there's not that much quality difference in terms of drivers. And yeah, it's hard to overtake. Pretty much the only opportunity will be run down to turn 1 or around down to turn 12 it is, I think.
Yeah, turn 12.
Or if someone pulls out something special or some ace out of the sleeve. But that is rare around this track, and yeah, the time penalties are also very often around here, so we should watch out for that.
Yeah, absolutely. As I'm on board with Sam once again. I believe he's got Mad Jonas in behind, and both of them are up on the sector 1 times by just under a tenth. So I'll stay on board with Sam. You can jump on board with Mad Jonas, and we can compare these sector times now as they come down towards sector 2.
Jonas coming under the back straight.
So Sam will cross the second sector, and he is 0.08 of a second up. What is Mad Jonas saying?
Jonas is 100 of a second up as well. 0.128. And now coming to this last sector now, you gain or lose around this part of track, depending on how you do it. Coming to turn 18. Going really on the edge.
Tam, and Tam puts it on pull. But can Mad Jonas displace him?
Coming on the straight.
Oh,
it's over.
It's so close. 0.03 of a second between these two.
Yeah, and that difference came in the last sector as well. As I said, you gain or lose lap time there. Pretty much depends on how you do it. And yeah, Tam managed to pull something out of the hat, pull ace out of his sleeve, and big quicker than Mad Jonas for now.
Yep, as Legend pops himself up into P5, we got Langfeld, I believe, he's on a cooldown lap. Or an in lap, we got Yogi, who...
Dylan on P3. Sorry for interruption there.
Oh yeah, Dylan up into P3, a good lap there from Dylan. Big improvements coming from the Alpine drivers, and honestly, that's been the case so far this season. The Alpine drivers have been incredibly quick, and for the most part, Tam and Dylan have been very consistent as well, which has really helped them stretch such an advantage in the constructors. And honestly, the past couple of races haven't exactly gone Dylan's way. Is tonight the moment where it changes for him?
Well, I wasn't there for Suzuka, but Imola, yeah, Dylan had pace, but at some point he started to struggle. Also, Australia, I remember he was also struggling there, although he had pace on the very start. But it just seems he always is involved in some incidents, not only his fault. He either spins or gets caught up in mayhem, and then he stuck in traffic for the entire race, and that's basically it. But hopefully for him, he can turn his luck around here.
Yeah, and obviously if Dylan is able to turn his luck around, should make the constructors a lot easier for the Alpine drivers. And obviously for Dylan, he's in a bit of a battle right now in terms of the championship with Yogi, so he's going to be looking to try and stretch his advantage away from Yogi and try and close in on Mad Jonas and Legend if possible in these final rounds. Well, I'm currently on board with NXJ, who's about a 10th up on his time at the middle sector as he comes into the double left-hander of... Which corner is it now?
I think it's 13.
It's 15. 15. It's only counted as one corner. I thought it was a double corner, but as we come into the final corner now, turn 20, can Jay get himself ahead of Legend to the line? And Jay does. He gets himself up in the P6.
Mac improving and goes third. And sorry, bit of slight problems on my screen, but J-Mac puts his Alfa Romeo on front row. So great lap from J-Mac.
Yep, fantastic lap from G-Mark to get himself up into third there. And he's only about half a tenth off Tam, so a very good lap indeed from the man in the Alfa Romeo. Just looking at who is about to start a lap, we got Boulder Bold, who is just about starting his lap, but we also got Biolu currently in P10, going to be looking for big improvements. I believe that time was also set. No, he was set on the source, I thought it was set on the mediums, but Biolu, we'll see if he can gain some time, a little bit of traffic to negotiate, but immediately gets out the way there does Sam, or was that Dylan, I'm not sure, but one of them getting out of the way very quick as Biolu comes to the first sector split. He's a tenth and a half up, and he's just invalidated.
With the off-road, just to make sure to get another lap in, I would imagine. Oh, as we have Spinner, and Noah J is out. Noah J is out. I think that was him who spun round.
Gust of wind, man, gust of wind. That's all I gotta say.
But this truck is really tricky around. It's really tricky to try around here. Yeah, this truck, one of the newest on the F1 calendar, 9 years old, built in 2012, designed by Herman Tilke, and 1993 MotoGP World Champion Kevin Schwantz, well, not MotoGP, by 500cc World Champion Kevin Schwantz, was also involved in the designing of this track. Obviously, this track also hosts MotoGP and F1 race from its very open, from its opening. I think F1 is here slightly longer. MotoGP came here in 2013, I think, but I might be wrong.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know we will be having 10 years of the Circuit of the Americas track this year in real life F1. Of course, as it stands now, 9 years for us, but it will be the 10th. As G-Mark has retired from the session, he's in the pit lane now, as I'm on board with Pariah, who's over a 10th up on his time. So we'll see what he can do. Right now, it puts him on course to maybe give Dylan a run for his money. As a big back-end snap there from the McLaren on the exit of turn 15.
Must have lost some time there. That was quite a big tank slapper.
Yeah, that was quite a costly mistake there from Pariah as he comes to the final corner. But is he going to improve on his time? He does, and gets himself ahead of Dylan. So if he didn't have that moment, he could potentially have been challenging for pole position, and Tam is not going to get pole because he's invalidated on his lap. We got Biolu.
Jonas is up on his time. This wallet lap.
Alright, now we got Biolu, who's 2 tenths up as he comes to the final sector, and he's just binned it in the wall in pure frustration. Dylan, the next man to cross the line, he's invalidated.
Jonas is over. Jonas is a 10th up. 0.159. Could this be a pole from the Red Bull man in the last stages of the race?
Could very well be. On board with Charlie now as he comes to the final corner. He's just invalidated. We have Yogi next up. He's 3 tenths up. That will only put him ahead of his teammate Stevie. He needs to find more time in the final sector. And Jonas will be the next one to cross the line, and he's going to jump up into potentially pole position. And he does. There's a 30.9. My predictions were spot on. How dare you?
Well, then I say 30.6. Oh yeah, but you are closer still. But never mind. Great lap from Jonas. Almost 200 up. So yeah, I mean, real life F1. I think some people in early stages of his career were calling Max Verstappen Mad Max, and then yeah, in TTML we have Mad Jonas. It seems.
Yep.
Really Mad Jonas.
TTML, we do have Mad Jonas in the Red Bull, no longer Mad Max, but Mad Jonas. And I mean, a very close qualifying session all the way, and Mad Jonas was able to find that time on his final lap to get himself into the 1 minute 30s. As we run through the order, it is Mad Jonas on pole position with a 30.9, a tenth and a half clear of the championship leader EVG Tam, who will join him on the front row. And about half a tenth back is GMAC in third place. Then we got NSR Pariah in fourth, with Dylan in fifth, NXJ in sixth, Langfell in seventh, Legend in 8th, Powdy in 9th, and Yogi rounding out the top 10. And outside the top 10, we have Biolu, Stevie G, Appledon, Charlie, and Boulder Bold rounding out the back of the grid. And honestly, normally I'd say outside the top 10 you get free choice of tyre compound, but if what Pariah has said is believed to be true, rain for the first 10-15 minutes, everyone will be starting on the Inders, surely.
Yeah, if the rain is if the start is wet, so basically start is going to bin, and yeah, indeed, we have a wet start.
Yep, the rain is trickling down here, and as I look to the stream, we got Langfell saying, did you know TNR Langfell have a Constructors Championship win in F3? Well, the way he's looking at the moment, he's not going to add to that. As Tam in the chat saying, FFS Jonas. I can't say what that abbreviation stands for, because we try to keep it very PG here, but Tam obviously knowing full well what Jonas is going to bring to the table today. As Jamie said, personally, I think Legend needs to go quicker. Come on, Legend. Well, Legend right now currently in P8. Everyone on the intermediate tyres. The question is, when will it change to the dries? According to Pariah, we have 10 to 15 minutes of rain. It could be a lot longer. It could be a lot shorter. Now, when it does make that change, do you think we'll just see everyone chuck on a set of the mediums?
I will say so, because yeah, mediums are better race tire, but in those crossover conditions, softs are better because obviously they are softer, they have more grip, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone go for softs. But I'm just wondering when will this rain stop? As lap around code and wet is around nearly 2 minutes. So if we have 10 to 15 minutes, that could be, I think, approximately around lap 10. I don't know, my maths is not quite good, and I can't be bothered to do maths right now. And so, but this will be also a lot shorter, because I remember in TTML F5 last season in Imola, we were having a sprint race and predictions in qualifying where we'll have a dry race. And then once we came on the grid, it was all wet. But now, as I saw Yogi spinning around the formation lap, luckily they did not hit the wall like Roman Grosjean.
Well, he's almost hit Biolo as Biolo's drifting. Absolute rally style through turn number 15. I tell you now,
we have WRC event in Kota.
I'm not gonna lie, Biolo has definitely been playing some dirt rally or something, because that was beautifully held. And look at him again. He's snapping the back end out. This is brilliant. The Scandinavian flick. The Scandinavian flick from Biolo there. Beautiful.
And Appledorn is around the formation lap, and he's disqualified for colliding with the wall. Well, who said you cannot do WRC with F1 car? You surely can. Just put Beolo in it.
Exactly, and that was some very good control from Biolo, flicking the car out like that. Definitely getting some heat into the tyres, I can assure you of that, as we wait for these 5 red lights to get underway, and eventually we'll have a good camera angle, but here we go to those 5 red lights. Lights are out and we are underway, and it's a pretty good start there from Tam as he immediately jumps up into the lead. GMAC again up into second place. Mad Jonas has had an absolutely horrendous start.
Ball is in the wall. Paolo's in the wall, and this could be safety car right straight away. Virtual safety car. Someone is around again. I think it's another Alfa Romeo or border bolt. Indeed, it is.
Yep, as we got a virtual safety car.
I think it's safety car, surely.
Nah, I think we'll just get a virtual safety car just because of no one being close to Buello's car on track. And I'm not sure what happened to Buello. Was there contact with anyone? Let's have a look to see if there's any wing damage on any of these cars as we fly.
I think there are some contact, at least with tire, because I saw one in far edge of my screen. Buello was side by side with someone, then absolutely got swiped by someone. I don't know exactly who, but there are surely contacts, because you cannot lose it like that. Especially after we saw Buello's car control on the formation lap. As Appledorn is around border pool, I don't know if he has any damage, but Appledorn has knocked his entire wing off.
We've got G-Mac and Dylan side by side for P3. Dylan runs a little bit deep. That's going to allow G-Mac to come back at him and try it around the outside. Is he going to be able to pull this off? Again. No, he has to stick in behind the Alpine. And look at Jay having a little look.
Oh.
Jay could have sent one down the inside there, but he's favouring the cool, calm and collected approach at this stage, and obviously that is smart from Jay. We would probably be expecting to see some moves down through turn 15 at some point during this race, but for right now Jay is keeping it nice and calm as we got Charlie on the back of Langfeld for P9 as Tam trying to get himself clear. Mad Jonas after a horrible start, he's trying to get himself back into this and trying to focus himself up, but he doesn't appear to have the same pace as Tam does in the wet condition, so he'll be praying that the dry comes pretty quickly, as I believe Langfeld and Charlie will once again scrapping for P9. Langfeld able to hold on for that.
And I think he's closing on 40 slightly, but it's not that far away from McLaren's of Legend and Piraya. Yeah, this is turning into train right now. Basically, everyone is close to everyone.
Yes, we've got Legend jumping up one position. Let's actually have a look and see who's jumped up the most positions here. So position changes. We have Charlie who's up 4 positions. Dylan up 2 positions. Boulder Bold up 2 positions. Stevie G has rejoined the session.
Sorry for interrupting there. Jay on GMAC for P4 and gets it done. Turn. Well, I think it is. I really don't know corners around here.
And what does Pariah do? Does he go immediately on the attack, or does he sit in behind and wait? G-Mac is taking some unconventional lines here to maybe try and find a little bit of grip. Jay's lost it, and he's come into contact with G-Mac, and absolutely nothing G-Mac could do about that there. Jay has just had a massive snap, and has just snapped straight into him. Unfortunate there for G-Mac, unfortunate for Jay, as well as Stevie has just gone past G-Mac, but absolutely, I feel for G-Mac, I really do.
Yeah, same, nothing he could really do about there, really good.
No, and he's picked up a 10-second.
I think that's it. I think he lost his ball.
I mean, it does depend. He may be able to get that penalty removed with the stewards at after the race, but I mean, for...
He's going, he'll keep going. That's the spirit. As now Jonas is closing up on Tam slightly.
But Dylan's closing up on both of them. Dylan right now has the better pace out of these 3.
Yeah, as Jonas set a fast lap on the last lap, and I think got slightly better run. Coming to his back straight wheel, he tried to make a move on Tam. Losing Yares, I think he's a little bit too far. Showing a little bit in the mirrors of the Alpine driver, but move could never happen around there because he was literally a bit too far back. I think even Daniel Ricciardo would not try that.
I don't know. Daniel Ricciardo has gone for some nutty lunges in his past. To be honest, I wouldn't put it past him to go for one of those.
I remember I think, sent it on Raikkonen or Bottas in Monza 2015, like miles behind.
Yeah, let's go. Daniel Ricciardo has always had an eye for sending an opportunistic lunge in the past, but as we see Tam go a little bit wide on the exit at the final corner, is that going to bring him under pressure here as Pereira sets a new fastest lap? But unfortunately he's about 2 seconds off the back of this battle for the race lead.
Tam made a little bit of mistake into turn 1, but
so did Dylan. Oh no, Dylan, it's the back of Mad Jonas, and he's going to try and force it into the SS. This is not the place to overtake, but Dylan's saying, nah, I'm not having any of it. I want to get through right here, right now, and he has to concede that position. But Dylan there, he's looking racy, he's looking punchy, and he's not playing around. Now Mad Jonas will have to try and get through on Tam because he cannot afford to be attacked by Dylan.
Yeah, but now that those battles of Pereira to gain
half a second.
3 tenths only that only to the exit corners. And now Jonas stuck in the slipstream of Tam using ERS, but I think he's a little bit too far. Enough. Yeah, as I said, you don't pull the moves from that distance if your name is not Daniel Ricciardo.
I think for Mad Jonas, he seems to have a much better final sector than Tam. He just needs to get close enough that he can have a little look into turn 1. But obviously, as we saw on the previous lap, Tam made a mistake, so he's definitely feeling the pressure. But immediately, Mad Jonas also made a mistake, and that is Appledorn around in the back.
He's moving, so we won't have a safety car, and let's go back to the front. Also, Paul is closing up for Legend, meanwhile.
Now, Mad Jonas needs to go, and he just doesn't get the traction out of the final corner, so he's not really going to pressure Tam into turn 1, and Tam is using his ERS.
I think Appledorn has fun again, but Tam again going a little bit wide on the exit. Jonas taking the tighter line. But Molas Dylan is again right, really close to him on the exit.
Well, Dylan looks like he has the best pace out of the top 3 as it currently stands, but right now he's getting a double dose of dirty air, and you can see the understeer he has in that Alpine is absolutely tremendous. And now Mad Jonas has a better run on Tam. Is he going to have a look into the hairpin at turn 11? He's gone for the inside, and Tam is going to give him the space, and they're going to be wheel to wheel on the exit. Now here's Tam. Here is Mad Jonas's opportunity now, as he is right underneath the rear wing. He's going to pull to the inside. There is a car in the back. That's Boulder Bold, who is out of this race, and that's a full course safety car. Jonas gets through on the safety car.
What a timing to overtake for Jonas, because he was just ever so slightly ahead when safety car was called out. So this safety car couldn't come in better time for Jonas. And right now, Pereira was also closing down on those guys, but I see some dry skies, and the clouds go away in the last sector of the track.
Mad Jonas is in. So's Tam. Dylan's trying to back off so he doesn't have to double stack. Pereira's in. Legend stays out. Powdy's in, and Legend unfortunately has been left hung out to dry.
I think those are medium speed for Jonas. Damon stops, as I said, Damon stops. Dylan is stuck. Let's see, Pereira also on soft tire. No, mediums for him.
Hards for Charlie. Very interesting.
Hards for Charlie. I think he forgot to change his strategy, because I don't know if hards are quite good around here, especially in those conditions. Mediums for Langfeld, softs for Yogi, and Stevie G is on. I cannot see. Softs for Stevie G. No, Jay coming in the pit, and now this brings back G-Mac and Oh, Jay to play. So that's really good for the race, as we saw they had pace early on. Those kind of conditions, but let's see who has the pace. The next conditions now, this is basically Dries versus Inters. And split strategy between some teams. Like,
yeah,
McLaren,
unfortunately for Legend, unfortunately him being right behind his teammate Pariah, and obviously with Pariah getting backed up by Dylan, there wasn't much that Legend could do about it. He had to stay out for another lap.
Yeah, but it's racing. It's what it is. Maybe he could try to back out, as the difference was not that big. He could back out so slightly, because also in this patch, which is a couple months old as of today, where the time when you're doing double stack, you don't get held behind your teammate as much as you will previously do. I think it's 4 seconds less you get held. So yeah, but I think Legend was still so close. But even if he went to the pits, I think he'll lose less than he will lose now if
yeah, he's got a pit.
start to work immediately. He's going in. Yeah.
And unfortunately for Legend, it does mean he's going to drop all the way to the back. And I know, I mean, we got Jamie in the chat who is a big fan of Legend and wants Legend to do well, but unfortunately he's gone from P5 all the way down to P10. And it could even be worse, because Jay and GMAC on the pit straight, and no, Legend's going to come out ahead.
Is it supposed to be Jamie curse for Legend?
What was that?
The fans curse for from Jamie to Legend. It's supposed to be Jamie curse. Supporters curse. Maybe it's a new kind of curse. Because we have commentators curse, and I think Jamie wants Legend to do well, and now Legend has made a wrong strategy call, or goal make, going into the pit. Now he's all the way back to P10. So
I mean, apparently Legend and Jamie were doing a bit of practice with each other, and according to Jamie, Legend was, let's say, wiping the floor. But the thing is, that's what happens when you have like let's go drivers from different divisions practicing with each other. There's going to be an obvious pace difference there. So if I was Jimmy, I wouldn't feel too disheartened about not having the same pace as Legend. As he doesn't need to have the same pace as Legend when it comes to practicing, but knowing that Legend does have pace is definitely helpful for us. And of course, in the dry conditions, we saw in qualifying that Legend, Jay, and GMAC all have very good dry pace, especially on qualifying. The question is, are they going to have that translate over into race pace, and they're going to be able to move up through the field? Of course, DRS should be activated as we get ourselves back underway, but we are waiting for Appledon to catch up to the back of the pack. He's all the way down in P13 at turn 11. Meanwhile, everyone else is coming through the penultimate corner right now, so he has a long way to go to catch up.
Yeah, around 40 seconds. But when we actually count in the pace of this old safety car, just say old safety car who obviously got replaced by a different type of car for this season. I think Appleton, if he doesn't do some mistakes, he'll catch up in no time. So we should go racing again really soon, as now we can only see some few raindrops on onboard camera, but the puddles are gone completely from most of the track.
Yep, the track has dried up pretty quickly here at the Circuit of the Americas, and the question is, who is going to master the dry conditions now? Arguably, Tam, Powdy, and everyone on the softs will have to make another pit stop. Charlie's the only one I'm 100% confident will make it to the end without an issue. I believe the mediums, they should be okay at the limit to make it to the end, but I don't think it'll be the quickest tyre to be going to the end with.
Yeah, Charlie will certainly make it to the end, but the question is how much he lose on pace, because when it's fully dry, hard to not affect up and around here, and especially if it's a first over. But maybe you know something you don't know. Mediums, yeah, they can cover them comfortably and make it, I think, to the end.
I think they're reaching their limits. As we get to the end of this race, I think they'll be reaching their limits in terms of the way. So I wouldn't be surprised if these guys do try and take it to the end, whether or not we get the someone picking up a punch up. But the safety car is going to be in this lap. Matt Jonas will back up the pack, and of course he's got Tam directly behind him on a set of softs, and that is going to be important. Can Matt Jonas get the jump on Tam on this restart? He needs to try and, I wouldn't say back Tam into Dylan, but he needs to hope that Pariah gets such a good restart that he can challenge both of these Alpines, and the same with Powdy as well.
Well, I will put my money on Powdy on this restart simply because softs at the moment have more grip than mediums on which are some.
Matt Jonas is gone. He has gone out of the penultimate corner, and now he's going to try and get away, but look at the grip already.
The grip difference already.
He's going to look to the inside.
Down inside. Turn one, braking late. Still side by side.
He gets through. Tam straight into the lead. Pariah's had a pretty awful restart. He's already dropped a second. Dylan up ahead, and he's under pressure now from Powdy. On those soft tyres, as we said, a lot grippier than these mediums, especially in these early laps. The hard tyres, for Charlie, he just needs to do his best to try and hold on with these guys. Eventually his tyres will become the better tyre, but he needs to persevere. He needs to not lose so much time when he's already almost outside that 1 second window, and that's going to be painful for him as he just teeters over and underneath the 1 second window, as he's already got Langfeld and Yogi all over the back, and Yogi all over the back of Langfeld. Is he going to have a little peek down into turn 12? I don't think so. He's going to back off this time around. Powdy though on the inside of Pariah for P4, bit of contact on the exit. Powdy gets through.
Yeah, Powdy used that grip, extra grip that helps give to him compared to Pariah's meetings at advantage. And now he's in Dylan, 43.
Yep, probably going to be able to go chasing after Dylan now for third place as Tam sets the fastest lap.
It's Jay has turned around again, no front thing, but luckily for him, he spawned close to the pits. If there's something positive right on the entry of the pits.
We've got Legend and Stevie G. Legend and Stevie G side by side coming into the SS, and Stevie backs out. I missed the overtake there from Legend. I do apologise, as Legend does get his way now up into P8. Now he's on the back of Langfeld, so he's putting his soft tyres to good use. And right now Charlie is just about doing enough to keep with the medium of Pariah, but he needs to do a lot more if he wants to try and stick with these guys.
Yep, as Cody is getting closer and closer to Dylan, who is actually getting closer and closer to Matt Jonas. So Matt Jonas, not only that he's losing to Tam, who is on soft tires, he's losing to Dylan. He's losing to Dylan, who is on the same tire compound as him.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's losing time to Dylan. I think Dylan's quicker in the first sector. Matt Jonas is a bit quicker in the final sector, and they're kind of equal in the middle sector, so they're just kind of cancelling each other out here. I think the big bonus for Matt Jonas is the fact that Powdy is right behind Dylan on those soft tyres, and will probably attack Dylan before Dylan can attack Matt Jonas.
Sam says the first lap of 175.250. stretching the lead to 2 seconds, over 2 seconds, as DRS is now enabled on lap 11, so it will be massive help to Audi, for example, or to Legend, who is on the back of Langford for P7.
Yeah, Legend all over the back trying to get this move for P7. I'm going to revert back up towards this battle for second as Dylan, I mean, I said Dylan was a little bit quicker in Sector 1, but he has lost a bit of time to Mad Jonas, and he's outside the DRS window. Oh my god, as Mad Jonas just pulled the gap at the perfect time for Dylan to lose out here. Dylan is not going to have DRS to defend from Powdy, and this could be Dylan down into P3 as here comes Powdy closing in. Legend gets through on Langfeld. He's going to look to the inside, does Powdy. Oh, it's so close. Powdy gets that position, gets the move done. Up into P3 goes the Aston Martin, and the gap between what's called Powdy and Mad Jonas is about 1.4 seconds, and that is definitely going to close. The question is though, can Dylan keep with Powdy? As we got a yellow flag in sector 2, and unfortunately that is NXJ who has gone around.
Will there be another safety car possible?
Potentially, we could have another safety car, as it looks like Dylan hasn't even got the pace to keep up with Powdy, and if this continues for the first sector, Dylan might not have DRS to defend from Pariah.
Yeah, exactly. As our Legend is close to Charlie, who is actually doing pretty well on those cards, I must admit.
Yep, he is doing pretty well indeed on those hards, but I don't think he's going to have much of an opportunity to really do anything when it comes to Legend, who's on 2 compound softer tyres, who's in DRS range and who is absolutely flying right now.
Now, as that crossover period has shortly ended, I think the mediums are slightly coming. They'll slightly become better tires as laps go away. So, over here as Legend.
Legend gets through on Charlie. Up in the P6 goes the McLaren, as we got G-Mac getting through on Stevie. And Stevie going to try to look for a better exit, but he can't get one. So G-Mac now up into P10, and now he can go chasing after Yogi.
Yeah, exactly. And for the not getting the badge of Yoda, the badge Yoda's at the moment. Yeah, on 1.3 seconds.
Mad Jonas, I think, from what it's looking like, I think this is the lap where the softs and the mediums have the same kind of pace, because you can see now Mad Jonas is beginning to close in on Tam, and Powdy isn't closing in anymore on Mad Jonas.
Exactly. As Dylan gets a time penalty. So this is massive for the...
Yep, here come the mediums. The mediums are into play now, because that gap between Tam and Mad Jonas just dropped by a tenth, just over a tenth in the first sector. Powdy has lost out massively in the first sector, and the mediums are coming into play now. So we should see Mad Jonas begin to close up on Tam. Tam didn't pull out enough of a gap, in my opinion, to make these soft tyres work for him, but he may have the pace on the mediums to hold some sort of advantage later on in the race, as Dylan over the back of Powdy, but he can't get a move done.
Also,
we got
Charlie
Pariah.
The gearbox of Legend, Charlie of Hearts, so those cards also coming into play right now, and Legend not closing up on Pariah anymore. However,
well, the softs are falling off. They are falling off the absolute cliff right now, as the mediums and the hards are coming into play. You can see Powdy struggling. He can't keep up with Mad Jonas. Mad Jonas is still closing in on Sam. As we look at that gap, it's now 1.5 seconds, and Tam has absolutely no ERS to his name. So Mad Jonas has the ERS advantage, he has the grip advantage, he has the tyre advantage now. Are we just a few laps away from the lead of the race changing hands here, or will we see Tam peel off into the pits before Mad Jonas can get to him?
Dylan is closing in with the heavy corner basically on Cody. And he had a bit of moment coming out of that chicane of, let's say, turns 8. And now that's why the Piraya joins that party.
Yep, and this is not what Dylan wants. Charlie gets through on Legend, and up in the P6 goes Charlie, so their confirmation that the hard tyres are now quicker than the softs. Legend losing out now to the Haas. Who is going to be the first soft runner into the pits? Tam is leading the way. He's got a 1.2 second lead. It would be ideal for Tam to not help Mad Jonas in giving him DRS, but Tam is going to stay out.
Cool, I would say, because Jonas only on this lap he gained around 4 tenths on Tam, and I'm sure he'll be in DRS already when we get on that big main straight, big back straight.
I mean, he's already on the tip and edge of DRS right now. I think when we come through this S section, we'll see how much he gains, and he is gaining. As Abaldon has retired in the pit lane though, so that should not cause a safety car as Mad Jonas gets a bit of a snap on the exit. That might just save Tam here, but no, Mad Jonas does just enough to stay within DRS range. Stevie G has made a pit stop and he's now down in 11th place. Mad Jonas does have DRS and will begin now to close in on Tam. The question for Tam is, does he pit now?
Well, that to be or not to be, that's the question.
Ladies and gentlemen, William Shakespeare in the commentary booth. To be or not to be. You'll love to see it.
Oh, well, I actually read that as get to read it from forum. So thought it was cool. And actually never read it. I think I read a couple of pages and still have a good mark. But anyways, enough about school, Shakespeare and do stuff. Jonas really closing in on Tam, but not close enough to make a move. And now Charlie is gaining slightly on medium runners.
Well, the thing is, Powdy's doing a good job at defending from Dylan and Pereira. And the longer this goes on, the better this is going to be for Charlie, because Charlie's tyres are better than Powdy's, and he's got a bit of clear air that he can push into. He's not held back with the dirty air, as Powdy picks himself up a 3-second time penalty, which is not ideal for him. But you can see what that little bit of fresh air does for Charlie as he gains over a tenth in the first sector. Well, nearly 2 tenths actually through the first sector. He is going to lose out with DRS down the back straight, but he should technically have a bit better pace. And pardon?
I'm wondering, will Dylan try to make a move on Cody as he does, and that's Dylan up to P3, and Spiraya does the same. Really nice move from our fellow
this was needed.
Commentator.
Honestly, I think Dylan's going to be absolutely kicking himself that he didn't get past Powdy earlier.
Almost in the arrest of Powdy. 1.1. Yes, now Jonas still can't get close to them.
No, Jonas isn't using his ERS. He's letting Tam use all it is to stay ahead. He's saving his ears. This is very smart from Mad Jonas, because he knows Tam is going to be pitting soon. He's trying to save up his ERS now. While he's got the chance with DRS, that's all he needs to do. He's doing exactly what he needs to do.
Yep, Jonas playing on tactics there as he's right close to the Tam going to the will he try to make a move before the straight? I wouldn't imagine so, because even if he gets back fast, and Tam will hit him on the straight.
Well, Tam only has 5% battery, and Mad Jonas is way too close to the back of him.
Oh, yellow
for
flag.
him. Oh no, G-Max around. Is that going to bring out the safety car?
Jonas, will he try to make a move now?
Yes, he does.
He will, and he'll P1 for Jonas. As now Piraya is really close to Dylan.
Piraya decides to sit in behind though, doesn't want to make that move. Charlie is beginning to close in on these two up ahead as well. So is this the moment where you could arguably say that the hards are about the same pace as the mediums right now?
Well, looking for at the last 2 laps, yes, I think that period has come or is coming.
And Tam's in.
Soon. Yep, Tam's in. So your order is like this on lap 18 out of 28. Matt Jonas lead in Red Bull, 3.9 seconds ahead of Dylan, who is
Never set
only
us off.
4 tenths ahead of Piraya, then it's Charlie on P4, Yogi on P5, Langswell on P6, and then Tam comes back out on P7.
Piraya! He's going around the outside of Dylan in the S. What a costly mistake from Dylan. Opened things up for Piraya, and Piraya takes full advantage of that. What a move from Piraya. That, to me, that was bold. That was brave.
I only saw last bit, but again, what a move from Piraya. I think he feels that support he gets from the Norway.
Honestly, that could be overtake of the season.
Sure.
But here comes Dylan straight back at him with DRS.
Breaks late, but I think he goes a little bit too tight, but hit the line. But Charlie is now right in the gearbox of both of them. Will Charlie try and make a move, compare them, and try to get himself in the clean air again, as he obviously has some pace.
Yep, Charlie doing fantastic right now.
Yeah.
Dylan's in to the pits, and I presume this is going to be for a set of the soft tyres. He's going to follow his teammate, but let's see how much time he's lost to Powdy by pitting the next lap. Yogi also comes in. He's going to check on the set of softs as well, surely. Now the question is, who stays on their tyres to the end, and who's going to come into the pits? Because
I think he's jumping Dylan.
100%, and Powdy is going to get that move done, and up into P6 goes Powdy. Now for Mad Jonas, if he pits now, he could potentially be under threat from Powdy on track, and then he'd have to make up all the time on Tam. For Mad Jonas, I'd say it's probably the smarter thing for him to do is to stay out, stick on these mediums.
Charlie, I think, trying to make a move on Piraya on his back straight. DRS open. Piraya obviously doesn't have DRS anymore. He's still undated. Yeah, he moved for Charlie, who, by small steps, he got up from P6 to P2 in just a couple of laps. So really good race from Harsh driver.
Very good racing from Charlie. Believe he's climbed up. He's climbed up 12 positions right now, and he's going to the end without a doubt. Like, he is definitely going to get the in-game driver of the day as long as he keeps it on track and don't make any silly mistakes. But as Mad Jonas is in, and now I think Powdy's going to jump him.
I'm on board with Powdy now. Charlie inherits the lead. Could this be potentially win for Charlie? Sam sets the fastest lap. Langswell stays out on mediums. Powdy, I don't think he'll jump him. No, he does not jump him. Jonas stays on
Dylan's down the inside of Powdy.
Down the inside turn 1. Yes, Powdy.
Now the question is, does Mad Jonas have the pace on those softs to catch Tam? He's got 2.8 seconds, 2.7 seconds to close up, and we saw how good Tam was earlier in the race on the softs. Can Mad Jonas close that gap, or has he pitted one lap too late?
We'll see about that. As Tam is closing on Langfeld. Gap between Jonas and Tam is 2.6 seconds out. 8 laps to go. If you thought everything is over, no, it's not. I think this is going down to the wire.
Oh, Charlie makes a big mistake, and now Pariah. Well, he had an opportunity to try and capitalise on it, but Charlie there with a massive snap on the exit of turn 15 almost loses the car completely, and Charlie almost ends up in the wall and out of this race. So Charlie right now on those tyres may look like the favourite to win this race, but he can't afford to make mistakes, as Tam is going to get through and pass Langfeld straight up into P3.
As Jonas 1.4 seconds behind Langfeld, and Tam is right ahead of him. But yeah, Charlie almost lost it there. That is coming up towards the Hayden Hill and going to second last corner of the track. Really easy to lose the back end there, because I don't know, no matter what setup you have or on what are you focused, that section of the track is extremely bumpy, so...
Well, this could be Mad Jonas straight through on Langfeld. Langfeld does have DRS on Tam, but I don't think that's going to matter, because here comes Mad Jonas. He's going to look down the inside, and he's right on the back of He's right on the back of Tam now. So Mad Jonas and Tam are they're right on each other now. And Mad Jonas has caught up 3 seconds since he came into the pits.
So I think he saved best for last, as Charlie is almost out of DRS. Almost breaks the DRS on Viraya. Now Jonas coming to the start bench right, he'll try to make a momentum fast lap of 153.2.
Have a look for the inside. He's had a little peek, but he's not gone for it. Honestly, now this is going to be the most intriguing aspect now of this race, because we're on lap 22 or 28. We got Charlie on the hard tyres, whose tyres are going to get better the later into this race we go. Pariah right now arguably could say has the worst tyres out of everyone in the top 4, and it's going to be difficult for him, but he does have a 6.5 second gap to Tam and Mad Jonas. The question is, will these guys on the soft tyres catch up to the top 2 before the laps run out? And when they do catch up, will their tyres still be good enough to match them in pace? That's the question. Can Mad Jonas now get past Tam? He's closing in, he's going to breeze past with DRS. Now, Pariah's getting through on Charlie. Charlie there must have made a mistake. He's down the inside though into turn 15, and can Pariah get a little switch back there? And he's unable to do so, but that is definitely not going to help these two, because look how much time they just lost due to that little battle to Mad Jonas. They've lost over a second near enough.
Yeah, and we have 6 laps to go, 6 long laps to go around this track. So, as far the more they battle, the more time they lose. Simple as that. And they are not only losing time to Mad Jonas.
Forgot Dylan and Langfeld side by side there.
Dylan, who is also right behind them. Well, Simon is right behind Mad Jonas, and there's something of a gap to Dylan, but it's not that far. And Charlie still leads 5 tenths away from SRP Raya.
Tam is absolutely on the ragged edge of trying to keep with Mad Jonas. he with the Red Bull, but Matt Jonas definitely has the pace on Tam here tonight, and the question is, will he catch up to the top two? 4.3 seconds the gap.
Now 4.1, 3.9 seconds. I think they will catch him because in middle sector and in the last sector, and partly in the first sector, the grip, the mechanical grip that car gives you is really important because you have those essays, you have lots of traction zones and lots of medium speed and slow speed, maybe high speed and maybe in low speed corners. And yeah, that tire advantage is really big around here. You have a fresh set of softs and
well, Matt Jonas now has dropped Tam almost out of DRS range. We did have a question come through in the chat asking how are we doing as commentators. I don't know about you, but I'm enjoying the action that we got right now. It's intriguing as we're on lap 24-28. Just to give everyone a little rundown, we got Charlie going to the end on the hard tyres. We got Pariah on the set of the mediums. His tyres are the worst out of everyone in this top four, but he's doing just enough to keep with the hard runner, and he's going to go for a move down the inside on Charlie for the race lead, and he's going to squeeze him out, hang him out to dry, but this is not what they need. As I was saying, Pariah on those mediums, he's been doing enough to keep with Charlie, but the issue is we got Matt Jonas and Tam on soft tyres, hunting them down, and the gap is only 2.1 or 2.2, 2.1 seconds from Matt Jonas to Charlie. The issue is, by the time these two catch up to the top two, will their tyres still be good enough? Will they still have the grip to compete? That is the question. And Charlie picks up a 3-second time penalty, and what a heartbreak there for FRL Charlie as he picks up a penalty which I'm almost certain may end up costing him a podium position here tonight. But that is the action we got right now. We've got 18 lap old on these mediums. We got the hards, which are better than the medium tyres right now, but Charlie's just picked himself up a 3-second time penalty. We got Matt Jonas on the freshest softs out of all the runners, and he is flying at them. We got Tam, who is also on soft tyres, but his tyres might run out of grip by the time he catches up, but he may be able to snag a podium from Charlie's penalty. The question is, can Matt Jonas close up, have the grip to get through on both Pariah and Charlie, and still maintain that lead? Yep, and Pariah's weaving to try and make sure he doesn't get the slipstream away. Matt Jonas, he can smell DRS is just a little bit too far away, but here goes Charlie back through on Pariah. And the question is, are these two now working in cahoots with each other to DRS each other so that Matt Jonas doesn't close up in time?
Could be the case, really, but I think Jonas will be within the DRS on the start-finish straight. As yeah, he was 1 second coming to this part of track, and now he's within DRS range of Pariah. So
all Matt Jonas has to do is get past Pariah, and he's in the net race lead with Charlie's penalty, of course. But as it stands right now, Tam still has quite a bit of work to do if he wants to get this podium. Because as it stands, he's not on the podium. He's just off it.
Yeah, exactly. So he's way off the podium right now. He needs to be within 3 seconds, and now he, at one moment, he was not within 4 seconds as well to Charlie. As now Jonas is out of DRS range, or no, he's not. He's within DRS.
He's right on the back of Pariah, and Pariah's not going to have much to defend from this, because here goes Matt Jonas. He has a little bit more ERS to use. And is he going to be able to have the speed to go around the outside? Red Bull versus McLaren. Oh, they keep it clean. And Matt Jonas up into second, or effectively the net race lead because of Charlie's penalty. Legend getting through on Powdy and up into P6 goes Legend. I think that's probably the best that Legend's going to be able to get out of this unless Dylan can pick himself up another 3-second time penalty. Matt Jonas there down the inside taking the Verstappen line. So we mentioned earlier about Mad Max, and now it's Matt Jonas, and he has taken the Verstappen line and has got through on FRL Charlie, upsetting the American fans here as the Haas has just been taken off the race lead.
Yeah, as I was checking the warnings a couple of moments ago, Jonas actually needs to be very, very careful because he's on 2 warnings, meaning that if he goes off the track one more time, that's the race victory going to him, and that can count with to Piraya basically, as Charlie gets our time.
Charlie, that's it, that's lost him the podium now. He had a chance of holding on to third, but with that second penalty, he has definitely lost it to this man, currently in 4th place. And Charlie's in the gravel, and
he's given up. I think he's given up, or that's a real failure, or he's given up. I don't know. Really unfortunate for Charlie.
I mean, we don't like to see people giving up, because even though he wouldn't have got a podium, he still would have been on for P4. Which is still a fantastic result considering where he started this race.
Yeah, and Charlie to that on track, really. Okay, that's too much.
To me, that is... I don't know what to say about that. I really don't. But it is... that's put a dampener on this race now. I'm not going to lie. Like... the mood was very high and it's just been absolutely deflated with that, as Matt Jonas is about to start the final lap of this race as he'll get underway. He's on course to take all 31 points here today, and he will gain a total of 11 points on Tam, who is in the championship lead and should still remain in the championship lead after this is all said and done. But the interesting thing is with Legend currently in P5. Obviously Legend currently second. He's going to lose out a couple of points to Sam, but he's going to lose out massively here to Matt Jonas, who's going to gain, well, 16 points on him in total.
Yeah. Really bad race from Legende. Obviously, I think the thing that he did not go in right on that safety car period, and he did not go in straight away, costs him a better result, because yeah, he will lose with that double stack, but I think he even lost more with staying out that one extra lap. No matter if it was a safety car, I think he lost big time.
Yeah, and across the line will come Matt Jonas to take the victory here. Going to take the victory here tonight. Pariah under pressure from Tam, but he's done enough to hold on to P2. So that's 2 podiums in a row for Pariah. Tam comes home in 3rd, Dylan in 4th. Legend will cross the line in 5th. Langfeld has crashed out at the end. Legend in 5th. Yoki jumps up into 6th. Powdy in 7th. G-Mac will jump up into 8th now, and Stevie G will jump up into 9th. So 15 runners, and we have 9 finishers, and Matt Jonas, I believe, takes away a perfect race victory with pole position, fastest lap, and the race win. So an excellent job there from Matt Jonas. And Legend gets driver of the day. No, Legend, I'm sorry, you do not get driver of the day from me. It has to go to Matt Jonas.
You don't get the driver of the day. Neither from me, Legend. has to be Madionas. It really has to be. He took pole last minute. He was struggling a little bit in the race, but once he took over the lead, he was in control of the race, and we can say easy win. That win was never in doubt.
Yeah, so we'll run you through the order. So Madionas wins from pole position with the fastest lap, getting the maximum points for today in 31 points. And Pariah, second podium in a row, and is looking good for the final few rounds of this season. Tam, he still has the championship lead, but he will be knowing that he's lost a couple of points here tonight, but he does finish on the podium, so he's still keeping the points ticking over. Dylan in 4th place, Legend in 5th, Yogi in 6th, Pouty in 7th, Stevie G in 8th, and GMAC will come home in 9th place, but the question is, will he get that 10-second time penalty removed? And now non-finishers were Langfeld, Charlie, Appledorn, Jay, Boulder Bold, and FRL Biolu, who all unfortunately retired from this race. And that will bring an end to round number 10 here at the Circuit of the Americas. Of course, we had Formula 2 going on at the exact same time as this. That was, of course, being streamed over on twitch.tv / the Masters League. And we should be seeing that being uploaded to the League Racing TV YouTube channel at some point tomorrow. But of course, tomorrow we have more racing for you. It is Formula 4 tomorrow, and obviously the man who got a podium here tonight, NSR Pariah, will be taking you through the action tomorrow for Formula 4, where you should be seeing both myself and Ivan taking it to the track and seeing who's going to come out on top in Kota in Formula 4. So make sure you guys tune in for that tomorrow at 8 p.m. But of course, at the end of this race, Ivan, do you have any final comments on what we saw tonight and how good of a race it was?
Well, it was an exciting race, as I could imagine. Really good win for Madionas. Charlie, really unfortunate for him, also for GMAC and Jay on that incident. In the beginning, Charlie, really bad attitude for him with that retirement track. But I can understand the frustration. Until that second penalty, he was up for a podium, but still, that's not the way to end the race. Also, great performance from Pariah and Tam, and very good race from every one of them, and congrats to our finishers. We could have more DNFs. It could be worse.
Yeah, he definitely could have been worse. But as you said regarding Charlie, he did comment in the chat. He's saying he didn't give up. His foot just went into massive pain and he couldn't continue. So maybe he got some cramp in his foot towards the end, and the agony of that is just a little bit too much for him to deal with. So that's unfortunate. If that is the case, we hope his foot gets better soon. Obviously, from our perspective, we comment on what we see. It did look like a bit of a give up, I can't lie, but we'll take your word that bit of cramp in your foot is very painful, and I understand that. But of course, not great to see, especially with the points and everything he was on for there. But we understand, and we hope you get better and come back stronger next week. Because of course, next week we do travel south of the Circuit of the Americas, because we are going to Mexico City next week for round number 11. So make sure you guys tune in for that next week. But until then, guys, I have been Ivan Boone Mike. He has been Ivan Tonsik, and until next week, guys, good evening and good night.